How's it going, everybody? This is Seer here, and we're going to be doing our defense video for Season 17 of Cosmic Crucible. But before we go into that, we do have a promo code that we're going to be claiming today. If you end up going to the Marvel Strike Force website, click the hamburger, go down to Player Gift. And the promo code is going to be Hellfire Heat on here. And it looks like it's just going to get you some costume credits, because they did end up kind of revamping the costume storage so that we can get the Doctor Strange costume and get the Echo costume, costumes that were pretty much unavailable. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. Hopefully they lean more into the costume portions of this, but we'll see what ends up happening with that. So let's go ahead and jump over to the defense side of things now. So for stage 1 on defense and offense, striker characters on spawn will get Safeguard, negative 90% max health, plus 100% damage, and will spawn in with 5 death proofs. Fortifier characters will spawn in with Taunt. So, real quick, the way this actually works, because last time they ended up doing this, there's a lot of confusion about order of operations. People thought you'd end up getting all of the buffs first, and then the room takes effect. The room actually takes effect first. So you're going to lose the 90% max health. Then you're going to be gaining 20% max health down here. So you will basically have 30% max health with the striker characters. You are able to kind of soup up your HP even further, which we are going to lean into. We're going to use Apocalypse, who gives 20% max health. Super Scroll gives another 25% max health. So basically, Thanos Endgame here is going to spawn in with 75% of his max health. So I'm going to make him that striker. That way the proc and all of his damage does go kind of through the roof. Omega Sentinel here as a striker is pretty dangerous on here, and they're not going to end up getting their Safeguard with Apocalypse on here. Super Scroll, if you don't stop him, he's going to kind of start doing some flips around. Then we have Black Knight, who's going to be that pre-taunt. So this isn't going to be like an unbeatable room, but I'm going to try to take as much efficiency away as possible. That's kind of the purpose of this room. If they try to go in with, say, Immortal X-Men or some of the characters that stop the vulnerables for the like Cabal, that stops the turn meter and everything, that's fine. They're still gonna have to deal with pushing that Thanos endgame, which is gonna be pretty nasty. Now, if you want to lean into this a little bit further, you could end up using Medusa on the defense or the offense. However, the way I have my room set up, they're gonna have to deal with the death proofs in 2 of the rooms, which you're gonna see later on. Stage 2 on defense and offense, all characters on turn will gain bleed, and when you have bleed, you're going to get plus 5% damage per bleed, and when you apply bleed, you're going to get defense up. I'm just going to lean into the Night Stalker, Scientist Supreme. There's a lot of counters out for this right now. It is kind of what it is. I did debate about using Night Stalkers in stage 1 with Blade, Oath, Man-Thing. Then I was trying to add in some of the other characters. I just don't know how impactful that would have been in stage 1. I might try that out later on in the season, depending how the stage 1 ends up going. So do keep an eye out for that one. Stage 3 Legends. So this room was bugged during the U32. What it says here is legendary characters gain plus 20% base stats on any ally turn, gain assist now. The on turn spread positive effects to the adjacents was actually working with every single character, not just the legendary characters. So do be mindful of this portion right here. I don't know if that's going to be kind of a text change or if they're going to fix it, but do be mindful that the spreads do happen for a lot of the characters, pretty much everybody, not just the legendaries on here. So what I'm going to be doing is my Phoenix Force team, Black Cat, who's going to be spreading those death proofs to Shadow King and Omega Red Phoenix Force. And then when Shadow King goes, he'll be able to spread that again to the Phoenix right here. Then when Phoenix goes, she can spread that over to Gladiator. So I'm just making a chain reaction of spreading these death proofs, which means they need to decide, do I want to get rid of the death proofs in stage 1 or stage 3? I'm trying to make them kind of pick their poison on how they want to try to deal with this. I'm curious how this is going to be popping off in here. And I really want to take Black Cat to G20. I just don't know if I have the guts to bring up a pre-Ares like her. But I really like Black Cat. I've been using her a lot lately. Phoenix, she is going to go up once they get more mutant pieces. So that is going to end up happening on here. Stage 4. This is pretty much the Hellfire Club room. So on defense and offense, villain mutant characters. When a villain mutant character uses their ultimate ability, revive an ally villain mutant character at 100% health. This can only occur once per character using their ultimate. So basically when character A uses their ultimate, they end up using the ultimate again. They're not going to get the revive again, which Hellfire Club has long ultimates anyways. So what I'm going to be doing is the Hellfire Club. I'm keeping Azazel with this team so they have that little bit of drain in here. I'm keeping Rachel on the offensive side of things because there is an event going on in the command center where you need to use the Hellfire Club at least one member 2 times, or basically just 2 members basically is what you have to do, and that will get you 50 points into that command center. So Rachel's going to be subbed out. I can use her with the Immortal X-Men team, which is kind of how my plan's going to be working with this. As far as villain mutant characters goes, I decided to go with Dakin in here. Initially I had Shadow King. I just felt Shadow King was more impactful in stage 3. Dakin is still a pretty fast character. If the characters that they bring in end up going like stealth or anything, he can kind of pop off with that special, get the ultimate off, and with his speed, I think it's like 118 or something. He's fairly fast. And then you factor in Emma Frost with the negative speed stat, he's going to be popping off pretty quick. Again, I think this is going to be kind of easy to beat, but it's going to be kind of a, hopefully an efficiency sink is what I'm hoping is going to end up happening with this room. Stage 5, Fester. This one here doesn't look too impactful. We had this in the U32. It really did nothing in there. So on offense and defense, all characters at the end of turn, characters with trauma will gain +1 bleed. I'm just going to end up using my Accursed team with Mephisto in here. This is a nightmare team to try to take out. And what we have is Mephisto is going to be adjacent to Juggernaut. Typically, this has been either 2-shot or like 2 Spartan attacks. They go in with a 3rd, or they haven't cleared it. So this is going to be one of my monster defenses. I was trying to see if this team would work in another room, but it really wouldn't. If we end up looking at stage 6 over here, we wouldn't have the city characters. We wouldn't get the barrier, which is fine. There would end up getting the turn meter due to the global characters. They'd have the cosmic character for the permanent damage. However, that would shut down the drain portion and the heal portion, which, considering how slow the team is and they kind of rely on being the rebound, it wouldn't work as well. If you look at stage 2, it could work in this room to where you end up having the bleeds that they pop out. They get the extra damage, the defense up. This is a good option for it, which maybe I might end up swapping that. Let's go ahead and do that. I'll just do this on the fly over here. So basically what we're going to be doing is Blade, he can still kind of pop out some form of trauma, I believe. Or I'll just treat it as like a dead room for this one. And then over here, they get the bleeds out. They get the extra damage. Yeah, I think this will work better over here in stage 2 is what we'll do with this one. This will just kind of be a dead room. If you don't want to put this team on defense, so you can throw something like Liberty or something else, maybe Orcus on there. Just a big team that you have built up. Stage 6, Desir's Avengers. So this one here, there was an issue last season due to some of the rules I was trying to implement. So they let me basically take that room down. I came up with some new rooms. They said they tested it out and it was working for them. So this should be working this season. So if you have at least one city ally, when you do a special or ultimate ability, you're going to get a 5% barrier on your entire team. Just some survivability for your characters. If you have at least one global ally when attacked, your ally is going to fill the speed bar by 5%. This can really throw out the turn order. And then if you have at least one cosmic ally, you're going to be doing that permanent damage just like Mephisto does. So I'm going to end up using the Fantastic Four 3-piece Xavier in here. So I have a global, I have my cosmic characters, I have another global right here. The reason I have Nightcrawler so that way if they try to use Emma Frost in here, it's not going to work. And this allowed me to use Apocalypse in my stage 1 to get the extra health boost into the stage 1 characters over here. Now, if you don't have Xavier, things that you could try to put in its place, I think Night Stalkers could work in here. because that would end up getting you global characters. It would get you a cosmic character in here if you throw like Kahori in there, and I believe city characters as well. So that would fill up all of the requirements. And then as you basically get hit, that's going to end up making it to where you could get the turn meter, kind of get Blade and Oath popping a little bit quicker. I think that could be a pretty good option in here. Other teams that could work in here, because I don't think if you have Xavier, it's worth putting anything else on here. And as you see, I do have Odin for the offensive portion. Maybe your Phoenix Force team could work in stage 6. I think that could be a pretty good option. Starjammers, that would be all cosmic, so they go very quick. That would be all permanent damage that you would do out there. And Howard the Duck would end up stopping the turn meter as well. So I think Starjammers could be a pretty good option in here. You don't really need to worry about the city for the barrier, but getting that permanent damage with like Howard the Duck, with Havoc, that could be very impactful in stage 6, I think. Now, as far as the offensive portions that I have in here, let's go ahead and go in, because I did make some save squads so you can see what my offense is kind of looking like. So I do have a Blaster team. I have Kahori in here because that's going to be a huge power couple. Yo-Yo is a very quick character at 140 speed. Black Widow, with those new stats, she's basically at 155 speed. And then we have Old Man Logan, who's going to be getting those assists as well. So this is going to be my very fast team. So I'm kind of excited to give this one a go about. I'm worried about how many teams stop the turn meter out there. So we're going to see how this ends up working in this season. This team right here, where I have Ares, Songbird, I have a 2-piece of my Immortal X-Men, New Emma. This is what I use to typically beat my Xavier opponents when they have them with Fantastic Four. Ares stops the turn meter, or Ares stops the safeguard, and then Songbird would do the flip. Storm would get the stun into Xavier. Then from there, just kind of take things out. So this is a really good team after you do the 2 burn attacks typically into the Fantastic Four Xavier. Right here, I have my Immortal X-Men team. I have my Starjammers. I have Captain Britain and the Immortal X-Men. I do have my Superior 6, and with Vulture getting the rework in Shocker, we'll see if I end up using them this season for Cosmic Crucible. Vigilante, Immortal X-Men, I have a Null, I have Quasar, I have Odin, I have Cabal. So I have a lot of offensive tools left, as you see on here. So we're going to see how this ends up holding up, and hopefully we can start getting that climb. And as far as the command center thing that I mentioned, if you go in to the command center and these pop-ups, there we go, into the command center, the Broken King week 4 in the objectives down here where it says play Crucible with the Hellfire Club. This is going to get you 50 points on here. And if you end up fulfilling the raid portion, this is 300, so that's going to be 350 points. I'm at 130 right now, so that would end up putting me at 400 or so. So that should get me down to this portion right here by using that Hellfire Club twice. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I do have my baby coming very soon, so if my videos start kind of stalling out, I've been basically getting ready for baby time. So hopefully you guys will forgive me for that one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video as well. If you did, please remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.